Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfszeit channel. Today with a very special topic, always special. The PTR Outpost. Me and a few of my friends tested the performance and the gameplay of conquering an outpost and defending an outpost. So first off, the patch itself is great, but there are some bugs here and there. But it's awesome if you see what StarVault has achieved in the past couple of months. I mean, it's impressive. So in the video here, we are in the first section of an outpost siege or an outpost claim. We are obviously defending the area. At first, you are in the section trying to defending the gate, and the attackers are trying to place the firepots in front of the gates. When they have enough of them in front of the gates, they can ignite them, and then boom, it blasts open the gates, and then this section is exposed, and all the attackers can go into the first section of this outpost siege. And I mean, I just imagine such fights on the live servers could be very funny. Of course, the balancing in some specific areas are maybe a little bit off, and in some a little bit too much or too less. This is very notable in the special move department, where I guess it needs some further refinement. This is why you should also fill out the StarVault feedback form to give proper and detailed feedback about the whole Reckoning patch. Because the more feedback, the more data we can give StarVault, the easier it is for StarVault to determine the middle ground between some stuff to keep it fair, to keep it balanced and stuff. And I'm so glad that we have the test server, the PTR server, that we can test stuff before it goes live. Because here in this example footage, you can see in the background, you can see the exact problem that occurred just during testing. I bet my ass StarVault didn't even know that this problem existed. Or maybe they know, I don't know. So the first attackable section in an outpost, so the outside layer. When this door is getting blown open and the attackers can swarm in, the gates in the next section are closing. You can see the gates here in the background footage. Then the defender can't go back to his own unit to defend properly, because the only way back is through the gates. But the gates are getting shut down immediately when the door in front is blown up. I don't know how this problem is solvable. Maybe through gates on the second floor and a short delay timer. Maybe a delay timer in general. Or maybe just changing the gates, that the second one is the blow up one and the first one is the leather one. I don't know. So while I'm trying to explain this with my awesome drawing skills, this problematic is even bigger than you think. It maybe sounds like a minor, small thing that, okay, then a few of the defenders can't go back there. The problem is then nearly no one wants to be in the first row there. Because you're basically lost. Because when the attacker blow up the gates, you will lose your gear. You will lose everything. Because then you have the Zerg there. This is why on later fights on the test server, the people were just in the last line of defense and just waited for the attackers to arrive at the last line of the defense. Some even claimed that it's easier when you flank the attackers just instead of using the last line of defense. So when you flank them before they can even blow up the first gate. There are also some minor tweaks to the outpost, but this is very questionable because everyone has another taste. But this is why you really should fill out the StarVault feedback form. And for all the new players who maybe don't know, the artifacts or the meteor weapons are very, very good. Some would also say they are OP, but the thing is, on these weapons, they should be OP because this is a weapon that only one guy can use. I mean, this is exactly the point why people fight over the relics and artifacts and stuff. This is also why the new outposts that we see here give you a lot of benefit. Especially the taxes from the regions would solve some problems because the current guild tax system seems to be broken because we are paying for structures that aren't there anymore. So if you're also having this problem, please leave a comment below, would be very nice, because I'm gathering more info if more guilds having the same problem. But all in all, as you can see in the background, such a weapon is very devastating. But people who have played with such weapons always report that they had a lot of fun and it was very unique to play with such a weapon. By the way, the priest inside the outpost is awesome, that the defenders can revive themselves inside the outpost. So from the current design, I can tell you that the most battles or the most brutal battles will be in the second section of the outpost all the time because of the gates there, for example, and just before the outpost siege really happens, that the aggressors will get attacked there first. I mean, in front of the outpost. I mean, before stuff can even happen and stuff. But we will see how this plays out. But I think this is a very good and nice addition, especially with the tax region system, that we now have finally a proper TC system in place and stuff. And of course, with the outposts, that that give more or less Zerg PvP gameplay, but also small scale PvP gameplay. It also depends on the region, of course, and who are you claiming, who's claiming what territory and stuff. It also depends on that, of course. But some fights will be equal, some fights will not be equal. This will be the case. There will be fights in the system with 50 versus 20, 50 versus 50, 50 versus 100, 20 versus 80, 20 versus 25, or maybe just 420 all day. But all in all, the Outpost Conquering System is working as intended. At least it's working as StarVault described it. A lot of people have reported that it's very good, but it needs some further refinement. For example, some mage spells are maybe a little bit too hardcore in these small spaces of the outposts. Some are claiming that the special moves need further refinement. Of course, they need further refinement. I mean, this is just the earliest version we can try out, test. A few have said the invasion system is awesome, and a lot of people like the new Husk Weave material. People have reported it's above blood silk or even iron fur. Now it also depends on the loot amount you get, but we will see what a whole invasion will drop in the future. There will be also upcoming content to that, so please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope you found this a little bit interesting. So a like and a comment would help this little channel maybe grow a little bit. Thank you for watching, and special thanks to all of these supporters, of course. Special thanks to all of these supporters, of course. Carmel, Lucario, Mr. Minerva, Dem Tired, Ronus, Paternax, Cologne Bulldog, and all the others, of course. So never forget to test hard on the PTR. I mean party hard. Party hard, of course. And see you all next time. Goodbye.